Hi guys, welcome back. So we're going to talk about the two BLEDISLOE Cup games. Australia and New Zealand going at it, getting a win each. One huge win for Australia in Australia, one huge win for New Zealand in New Zealand. What does it mean for the World Cup? So what are the 5 talking points? So first of all, point 1 is New Zealand are still favourites. Okay, that's clear. They were favourites to start with. There were questions after the first game, but they're still favourites now. But they've got massive questions, so they're favourites, but they've got to answer some huge questions, mainly around selection, style of play. They're probably going to stick with now. They're not going to change a lot. The defence was in question after the first game, and they came back and showed some fantastic defence in the second game, so that doesn't look like a problem. But decision-wise, 10, fly half and 15, or first 5/8, whatever you want to call it. Does Beauden Barrett, their best player, start at 10? Or does he start at 15 as he has done in these two games and look to counter-attack and tactical kick from the back? How do they use their best player? At the time of recording, I don't know how Richie Mo'unga is. Is he injured? Is he out? Is he okay? But let's assume he's okay. Do you go Mo'unga and Barrett at 15? Do you stick with Barrett at 10 and then bring Smith back? Or do you go Geordie Barrett at 15? It's a real humdinger. I don't quite know. I will come back with a best 15 of all the teams eventually, but I'd like to know your thoughts, pick your brains on that one. But they've got more issues than that. I mean, these are kind of good issues, but they're issues that should be sorted out before this, really. Back row, Reed's looking good, he's in good form, which is great. I had a few question marks over what he'd look like coming into this championship, but he's looking really, really good, as is Ardie Savea. So those two have got to start, I think. But in what positions? Blindside or number 8? Could be either, to be honest. And then you've got Kane and Todd for Feta, maybe Scott Barrett in the mix. What's the best mix? Who are the best? Do you just play the best players, or do you play the best mix? I'm not sure. Again, still thinking about it. Big questions there. And in the centres, it's the same. Sonny Bill and Anton Leonard-Brown had a really good game, but then I really like Laumape. Good Hughes, a physical handful. Leonard-Brown's got the outside break. Sonny Bill's got the offload. Could Crotty come back from injury? I haven't worked out what I think the best centre partnership is, and neither have they by the looks of it. Then in the back 3, Ioane's out of form. Smith isn't playing the best. Reece and Bridge came in and had fantastic games. Barrett always has a great game, so let's ignore him. So do they displace the old guard? Just huge questions there. Point 1, they're still number 1, but huge questions. Okay, point 2. Australia are together now. The World Cup has brought them together. They're on the same page. This is what seems to happen in World Cups. When it gets serious, Australia stop mucking around, they get together. You can see what their game plan is. They obviously want to play a bit, but they're happy to mix it up. Australian ingenuity isn't dead. They saw that the All Blacks really defended the ruck very sparsely, and they've picked and gone through the middle, hit the fringes, sniped round the edges, had some joy there. So it's good to see that ingenuity there, and also their back play as always, it was looking scintillating, or certainly it's very inventive. So, you know, they are back, they are together, it's going to be exciting, they're not going to be boring. Right, point 3, smaller point, who's going to play 10 for Australia? So we've got 3 candidates here. Leali'ifano coming back, looking very steady. If you want to execute a game plan, he's probably the man for me. I really dislike his goal kicking technique. The curl he gets on his kicks, just not consistent. Don't like it at all. But I guess you could have Hodge kicking and things like that. But anyway, him. Then you've got the incumbent. We've got Foley, who's a very dangerous player. Maybe is he in the best form? I don't know. But he's super dangerous, got a lot of experience. He could be a good shout, of course. Then Tuma, you know, he's a good player, but is he a utility back? Is he good enough 10? I don't know. So let me know what you think there. It looks like Leali'ifano is probably in pole position at the moment. Right, point 4. And this is a universal point that never really goes away, but it was again brought into stark reality by those 2 games. Intensity is everything. In the first game, New Zealand's intensity was off, and Australia were right on it. New Zealand's defence were off, they were slipping off tackles, it looked rubbish. And then once they got their intensity up to proper World Cup test match level, their defence is amazing. And whatever side in the top, echelons of world rugby get their intensity right, may well win this World Cup, or certainly will win the big games. Intensity is everything. That's rugby all over. But it's so hard to get to that level all the time consistently. And finally, point 5, Australia are going to play. They're going to move the ball. So teams playing against them are going to be worried because the ball could be flying around all over the place. And in Japan, it's dry, it's hard. It really does suit Australia. They're not going to have massive time zone problems. It's looking quite good in that respect. But can they string that sort of complexity together 3-4 times in a row to win against 3 or 4 huge opposition? As we saw in the last game, they are prone to making mistakes, and if they do make mistakes, then their key attacking weapon, their handling, their ingenuity is gone. New Zealand capitalised on the scraps as well. Could it be their best weapon, but also their biggest flaw, the Australian handling, moving the ball? So anyway, both teams looking vulnerable in areas. There are some questions, but both teams certainly showing they're good enough to beat anyone. New Zealand sticking around as the favourites. What a great little series that was. And I'll come back and I'll talk about all the teams after the warm-ups to say where I think they're at, pick some best 15s and roll on the World Cup. Until next time, I will see you then.